Now, on another note, it may be a new year, but it's the same old song and dance. Israel still fighting in the battle for public opinion against a host of serious and often libelous charges. Still, despite the challenges, many might argue that Israel is off to a good start in 2022. Israeli journalist Dror Yemini here to discuss. Dror, it's great to have you back with us. So probably the biggest and most recent challenge to Israel, of course, is coming from the new report from Amnesty International alleging that Israel is an apartheid regime. You wrote a scathing response, actually, to this report. Would you care to share a few words?
From one hand, I'm telling myself, and I'm telling a lot of people, well, we had enough. We had enough, to apologize again and again about this kind of blood libel. And I don't have any better definition to what they're publishing. It's a blood libel. To turn Israel to an apartheid state, it's like to turn, I don't know what, Sweden to an apartheid state. What are you talking about? Let's compare. Let's do something. Let's compare between the Muslim minority or the Arab minority in Israel and the Arab Muslim minority in Sweden. You know what? You know what you are going to find? And I did this kind of comparison. You will find that the Arabs in Israel as a minority, they are doing better than in Sweden. They are actually doing better speaking about education, speaking about unemployment, speaking about a lot of other aspects. They are doing much better.
Well, and you're arguing that this is...
Because they say, you can, of course, you can criticize Israel and you can be against, for example, the Israeli rule over the territories. Fair enough. It's fair enough. It's not anti-Semitism. Not everything that is said about Israel is anti-Semitism. It's not my claim, not at all. But when they are saying that the whole Israel, from the river to the sea, is an apartheid state, it is so stupid. It's a shame.
Well, okay. You mentioned the blood libel again, as a modern-day blood libel here. As an attorney, do you see Israel as having any chance in court of suing Amnesty for libel?
Legally, I'm not sure that it's possible. Legally, I'm not sure that it's possible because, It's a kind of a political view. They are against the very existence of Israel. They are against the very existence of Israel as the Jewish homeland. They are actually against the UN Charter.
But it's not from that position that they're making these arguments. And they're claiming these arguments, and they're also claiming these arguments not as political opinion, but as fact.
No, they are against the very existence of a Jewish, of a nation state, a Jewish nation state. Come on. We have so many other nation states. Look at former Yugoslavia. We are having now something like 7 national entities. So, what? Is it an apartheid? When people want self-determination, which is recognized by the UN Charter, I think it's paragraph 2 or something.
Right.
They are against it? No. They are not against it. This is the point. The point is that they are not against it. They are against only one state on earth.
All right. So I want to move aside from the Amnesty report now. Israel's also pushing back on a number of other issues, most notably the Ben & Jerry's ice cream debacle, that they're still ongoing. Justice Minister Gideon Sa'ar still calling for retaliation against Ben & Jerry's and their parent company Unilever. How much can Israel actually enact pain or a hurt on these companies' wallets?
I'm not sure that we need it because actually things are going on in the United States. A lot of decisions on the states level against any kind of investment. So, they wanted to punish Israel. They are punished themselves. Now they know in Unilever, at least, they know that actually they caused a huge loss to their own interest.
Do you think Unilever might cut their losses? Because so far it seems like they're not really interested in dropping ice cream.
Yeah, it's because of internal reasons, because of pressures from so many sides, but they are losing a lot of money. And I don't think that Israel should interfere. I think so many United States do it much better than what we can do from Israel. So let them do the work.
Well, so for my final question, really, and I'm staying now on the topic of BDS, Camera UK, or the British branch of the Committee for Accuracy in Middle East Reporting and Analysis, they also just recently outlined a list of BDS fails from the start of the year, including the adoption of the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism across some 10 more United States, and the playing of Israel's national anthem at the UAE. Would you agree that the global BDS campaign is largely on the back foot?
No, I'm not sure, because we are speaking in two levels. Economically, it's a total failure. I mean, Israel is doing quite well. Not many companies, I mean, you can count them on maybe one or two hands. I mean, how many companies really boycott Israel? The point is that when we are speaking about the public opinion, they do have a lot of success. I mean, and mainly in the elites. Look at what's going on in the American universities and what's going on in the newspapers, the progressive kind of newspapers like New York Times, like others. I mean, yes, they are succeeding in public opinion. Yeah, they do.
All right. Ben Dror Yemini, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
ILTV Plus, your news from Israel and more 24/7. Start your free trial today. Subscribe at iltv.tv and watch from any device.